Hey,
Good
Chris.
afternoon, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
I can see a lot of squares coming on the screen, so let's give a minute for all the squares to start. I see 68, 69. Oh, let me turn the to yeah.
70.
Okay, we should be close. We should have about. Okay, I think we can get started.
Right.
So, Jangok and Hyunhee, thank you for having the team here on relatively short notice. I think I wanted to take today opportunity to firstly say hello to everybody. Also, we have 1 hour, correct, on this call. We have 1 hour, up to 1 hour. Is that correct?
Yes, 1 hour is big enough, but
Yes,
it
yes, yes, yes,
depends on
yes.
you.
Yes. So I wanted to take the opportunity to, I'm doing this in each of the regions to say hello to you, to
Mm.
also share a little bit about my vision of the opportunity that is ahead of us and the direction that is ahead of us, and also sort of the expectation that is ahead of us in the business in Korea uh, as we go into FY26. I also want to take the opportunity to obviously thank us for a fantastic FY25. I think FY25, the license business, I'll start with license business in Korea, really delivered again about $100 million, which is fantastic. And you've maintained that $100 million curve in Korea with license, which is difficult to do, but you've done a good job with that. I think also with cloud, I think we start to see some brilliant emerging, what I call it, emerging gold opportunities that I think will become quite big in FY26. We have a lot of work to do in cloud in FY26, a lot more than we need to do from a license perspective. We have a lot to do in cloud. But the opportunity is there. So I want to start by saying a very big thank you for everybody in FY25. One second, can you see me, or is this too bright?
Sure.
I'm in a yeah, you
You
can.
look
Okay,
tired.
I've been fly. I just landed in
Yes,
India.
you are in
So,
Mumbai, right?
oops. Yep. So I just landed in Mumbai. It's on a red-eye flight, so I am a little bit tired. So hopefully the hotel room is not too bright here. Okay. So let me start a little bit with the opportunity in front of us. And then I will talk a little bit about expectations. And what I'd like to do is throughout this conversation is to have you to use the chat. I know sometimes language can be a barrier. But use the chat to ask questions. I think, then we can translate it. And I can try to answer your questions as well. Jungok and Hinhi, as I share some of this, if you have questions you think the team have asked you, please also put that into the chat, or just ask me when you can, because sometimes your team may have shared that with you and you want to raise that as well. So let's start with the opportunity in front of us, right? I think there's two opportunities. The opportunity number one is to continue with the license business as is. I start with that. You have a great momentum. I think it's 3 years now. That's the Korea license business has been about $100 million, which is remarkable, right? Which is remarkable. Now, the database business as a whole is growing as well globally, right? The database business is growing as a whole, not just in license plus cloud, but in Korea. I think you've had a great run at doing this in the license business at $100 million. So our opportunity for this year in Korea is to continue that run rate. The budget is very, very, let's call it very friendly. The budget is at 98 or $99 million, very close. We're all amongst friends. If you have a $99 million budget, you round it up to $100 million. Okay. So $100 million in the license budget, very, very achievable. We're doing what we're doing. There is amazing amount of innovation that we have in 23 AI. that can run on Exadata as well as the cloud. You all know this. And you know, Korea is also one of the big Exadata countries in the world. So, the opportunity for you to take some of this innovation to run it on premises as 23AI on Exadata and grow our license footprint, well, that's a big opportunity for us in license. So I think for all of you who have been focused on the license business, the solution engineers, by the way, we are looking to change the name a little bit to call you data architects or data engineers because we think that the data market is bigger than just on premises. The data market is on premises plus also on the cloud. So we're really looking to rename ourselves to be data architects as opposed to just solution engineers. So for those of you in the solution engineering team, I would say we have a great opportunity to take the innovation that's there in 23AI and show that to customers and continue to build momentum and business in the license in Korea. I think our much bigger opportunity where there's significant growth, where we should be almost doubling the business, is in the cloud. And like I said, the cloud is everything. The cloud is database workloads on the cloud, as well as non-database workloads, so infrastructure workloads on the cloud, right? So I think there's a massive opportunity. And again, we have a very friendly budget. When I say friendly budget, I think our budget is only about $53 million, $53 million for the year in consumption. I say only because that is actually very, very reasonable, right? That's very, very reasonable. That is growing us at about 55, 60% year on year from a very, very small base. Okay. Our opportunity in the Korea market for cloud is to at least double our business. At least. If we look at what our competitors are doing in the cloud space, it is in the multiple billion dollars as a Korea market, right? Where we're at this year, I think last year our consumption was about $33 million, right? We should be aiming to get to at least $66 million worth of consumption, at least. Right? Why? The opportunity is absolutely massive. The opportunity is massive. I'll start with our install base. It's massive in our database install base. Our database install base can use 23AI on premises, but they can also use it on the cloud. With all of the innovation that's coming out with the Converged database, with ransomware protection, there's a whole bunch of data solutions that we can extend in our install base from on-premise to the cloud, right? We can go and target the MongoDB install base. We can look at new applications that are being built for customers, new AI-based applications that are being built with customers. We want new applications to be built on Oracle. We don't want them to be built on Mongo and Postgres and other environments. So we need to go and talk to our customers about what we have available in 23AI and what it means for them. And so I see 23AI as being a massive business for us, not just for the software on premises, but also in the cloud. I'll share with you some statistics in a few minutes. The second area for us to go target is what I know Jungkook and the team have already started doing, which is looking at infrastructure work, right? Looking at how we win back customers from other clouds. How do we do new cloud native development on OCI? How do we actually go and win against infrastructure, like for the gaming providers? Pure native compute network storage. These opportunities are massive. It needs us to think in a very different way. We need to be working like a digital native. We need to have the capability in raw compute, network, storage to go head to head against architects that Amazon and Azure and Google are putting on today, right? So there's two sides of the business. That's why it's so big. One is our install base with on-premise new applications as well as cloud new applications, winning back from Mongo, winning back from Postgres, winning back from MariaDB, huge opportunity on premises and cloud. But the even bigger opportunity, I say even bigger, is in cloud native, is for us to go into the gaming sector, for us to go into the unicorns, the digital natives, the ones that are growing really quickly, and to win infrastructure. I have to say it's not something we have done very well across Asia Pacific. We haven't not done that very well. Probably in Korea, we definitely haven't done that enough. We can do more. We can do better. Right? So we need to be focused. To do that, it means we need to have different skill sets. We need to have a different mindset. We have a completely different competitor in this space. Our competitor is not the traditional database planner. Our competitor is a lead compute network storage expert from Amazon or Google who's talking to the customer about flexible shapes, about scale up, about Kubernetes clusters, about a whole bunch of technologies that is sometimes seen as foreign to Oracle people because we are so used to just working at the database tier. We need to move beyond that. We need to move beyond that. And I see some massive opportunity there. But before I do that, let me just share with you first. So two opportunities, right? Let me be clear. Database, 23AI, and then infrastructure, digital natives. But for the 23AI, I wanted to share with you, some of you have seen the, maybe you have attended, Jung Ok Hyun, you attended maybe the database exec meeting. It was a crazy hour, so maybe you didn't. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, but for you. But if you did, I'm going to be presenting this to all of the RMDs, so Garrett and all of the RMDs. We put together a summary of the 2-day DataB exec and like a debrief. So just for the database portion, I want to share with you the opportunity for the database. My opening slide is FY26 is the year of database growth. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means we used to sell just this modernization, consolidation, lift and shift. But that's not how we'll make our money with database. We will be chasing new customers, new workloads, competitive takeouts, and we will be working with a developer community to build new applications on 23AI. This is not my slide. This is Juan Loaiza's slide, right? Oh, give me 1 second. There's somebody at the door. Give me 1 second. Sorry about this. Okay, I'm back. So 23AI is a huge opportunity. And like I said earlier, whilst we have done fantastic growth in Korea or a flat business, what you're seeing here is the database market is actually growing, right? So even on the software and the license and 23AI, we should not be content with a flat. We should be looking to grow. Why? The opportunity is there. This is not my numbers. This is Juan, what Juan projected. And if you look at where the growth is coming, it is coming from database in the cloud, 27%. 27%, right? So it's amazing the opportunity that we have with us at the moment. And if you look at where the growth is happening in Asia Pacific, it's really across the world by region. It's really happening across across in database cloud. Okay, so database cloud isn't going to grow with just on-premise lift and shift. It's not going to grow that way. It's going to grow if, only if we do these things. Targeting new logos, targeting new, brand new applications that are being built with the Oracle database, 23AI document capabilities, with our vector capabilities. Brand new customers, brand new logos, brand new applications being built on 23AI. So that is one massive. I won't share. I can send this deck to you, but there's a whole bunch of data that we share, and we're going to be sharing with Garrett and the RMDs. But hopefully that gives you an idea of the potential that we have and the expectation that we have for our database business. It's not just lift and shift. Okay, we're going to do at least $100 million on premises, but we're going to do more with database on the cloud. Why? We're going to be building new applications on the cloud. We want to go and win Mongo on the cloud and on premises. We want to go and do that. Okay, so that's growth expectation number one. Good news is the skills for database exist in Oracle and exist with pretty much all of you on the call here. If I were to ask a show of hands on how many of you think that you're strong and proficient with the Oracle database and the Oracle database story, I'm pretty sure I get a good set of hands, a good high percentage of hands being raised. That's good. But even with Oracle database skills, we need to change the audience that we take it to. Today, our audience historically has been we go to the people we know in the customer who is running an application that we know for many years built on Oracle database, an old application. And we talk to them about using some options, and maybe we talk to them about moving to the cloud. Maybe we talk to them about moving to XSCC. That's what we do today. We need to change that. Continue doing that, but do more. We need to go and talk to people in the company that we haven't talked to before. The people who are building new applications. The developers who are choosing Mongo in our customers shouldn't be choosing Mongo. They should be choosing us. The developers who are building new applications on Postgres shouldn't be doing that. They should be doing it on us, maybe with Autonomous Database. The developers who are building the next generation AI applications or trialing pgvector or other vector databases shouldn't be doing that. Not when we're in the account. We should be showing customers, speaking their language as to why we are different with 23AI. It's been 6 years of R&D to release the product, and the product is fantastic. The product is available on premises. It's available on Exadata. It's available on XSCC. It's available on OCI. It's available soon in multi-cloud, even in Korea. So there's no reason people should be building new applications without hearing our story for the Oracle database. So that's opportunity number one. That is my expectation. So my expectation for the team is very clear. Just telling me, oh, all of our workloads are lift and shift is good, but not good enough. We'd be chasing for show me new applications that are being built on 23AI today. That's what I'd be looking for. Show me takeouts where we are bringing applications back into Oracle from Postgres or from Mongo or somewhere else. That's what we should be chasing. Those are the types of workloads we should be chasing. Show me a new logo, a customer who has got no Oracle database today, and we go and sell them Oracle database for new application development. That's good. So that's my expectation of what we're going to be doing for the 23AI for the database business. Okay. I think we have the capability in this room, in this Zoom call. We have a lot of people in the Zoom call with Oracle database experience. Use it. Change your focus, broaden your focus, talk to more customers, show more customers how we are different in all of these things that we just talked about. You know it better than me. Okay, that's opportunity number one. Opportunity number two, if I were to ask you, what percentage, and you can use the chat if you want, what percentage of Oracle's cloud business is infrastructure versus database? What do you think the number was 2 years ago? And what do you think the number was? Maybe just put in the chat, right? So 2 years ago, what percentage of cloud consumption was database versus non-database? What percentage was database? Anyone want to take an idea? 2 years ago. No guesses? No one wants to guess? I'm sure we can have a prize for a guess. Anybody has a guess, there's a prize. Okay.
73.
Oh, nice. I heard 73. I see 90. You're in the ballpark figure. Yeah, exactly. I don't know the exact number for 2 years ago, but I would say it's somewhere between 70 and 90%. Okay, probably 75, 80%. Okay. I see 4 to 6 or 60, 40. Yeah. No, 60 was too low. It was higher 2 years ago. Today, what do you think the portion of database is? Database, portion of database.
Sixty.
30%? Infra's over 50. I see 20. So Oracle database would be about 10%. Okay. Now, that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean database shrunk. What does it mean? It means database is still growing, right? I just showed you DBCS is growing 27, 37%, right? So database is growing. But what does it mean? It just means infrastructure is growing 1 or 2 orders of magnitude faster. Does not. So we're in a great position as a company. Our database is great. Our database is growing at 30, 40% on the cloud, right? But the infra market, firstly, the infrastructure market is much bigger than the database. Much, much, much bigger. Maybe 3, 4 orders of magnitude bigger, 3 orders of magnitude bigger. Okay. And we're also growing there. So we would be crazy if we just put our bet on database. We have a very, very good database. We should also be chasing the growth in infrastructure. Why? Well, because we have a very differentiated infrastructure product. OCI Gen 2 is very differentiated from a networking perspective, from an isolation perspective, predictability perspective, SLA perspective. We are very different. And for the first time in my 30 years at Oracle, Oracle was always different. Database, different. Remember our database, we were the first to do multi-version read consistency. We were the first to do row level locking. Very different. Exadata, we were very different. Right? RAC, we were very different. But this is my first time in 30 years where we are very different and significantly lower cost. We've always been different, but you have to pay extra for that difference. If you think about it, I used to sell Exadata many, many years ago. Jungkook has been part of the team when we were doing this. When we sold Exadata, who were we competing against? We were competing against the x86 hardware providers. Yeah? Much lower cost, right? But we had to go and justify why Exadata is more expensive than x86 servers. Correct? We were more expensive. So we were right. We were more expensive, but you need less machines. So Oracle is still right, but you still have to explain and convince the customer why we are more expensive. The good news about OCI infrastructure, it is hugely differentiated. And for the first time in my 30 years at Oracle, I don't have to explain to the customer why I'm more expensive because I'm better. I can say I'm better and I'm lower cost, right? Our audience is completely different here. Our opportunity is completely different here. And I saw some of the comments in the chat there about mega deals and things like that. Absolutely. We need to go and win infrastructure deals. Why? Infrastructure deals are the fastest time to consumption. Infrastructure deals are the fastest growth trajectory. Why? Because when you just do the database, it's good, it's sticky, it's excellent, but the database will flatline on capacity because our database is so efficient. When it's infrastructure, you're just buying computers, you're buying network egress, you're buying storage. These things grow phenomenally. So our consumption, which is our revenue, will grow phenomenally. So my expectation, and I do want to get to Q&A, so I'll pause shortly. So database is one growth engine. We have the skills. We need to look bigger, have different conversations. But my bigger expectation is also what we are doing as cloud engineering in the infrastructure space. Massive. Here we have a lot to learn, a lot to learn. Firstly, everybody on the call who's in the infrastructure space should really, I expect you to understand compute, network, storage, and Oracle's differentiators relative to Amazon Compute, Azure Compute, Google Compute. We must. We absolutely must. We must understand how we are different. We must understand how we can challenge and win against Amazon, even though Amazon is the incumbent and already there. So what? So what? Most customers, look at our largest customers, are either win-backs from AWS or Azure or Google, or multi-cloud, where the customer, especially digital natives, especially infrastructure, is using 2, sometimes 3 clouds so that they have less risk across all 3 clouds going down. So it's a huge opportunity. But if I were to ask for a show of hands, how many of you here think you're absolutely comfortable to go head to head with an Amazon engineer to win a workload against Amazon? I think the show of hands here will be very low, not just in Korea, everywhere in Asia Pacific, right? And one of my charter, speaking to Jungkook, speaking to Hyuni, my charter is for us to change that game. If we are going to be the #1 cloud provider, which is what we are chasing for, we are chasing for #1. 4 years ago, we were number 10. Now, depending on who you ask, Oracle is #3 or #4. We are chasing #1. We cannot chase #1 spot just with the database. We need database for new applications, but we also need infrastructure, because the size of infrastructure deals, the growth of infrastructure deals is significant. And who do you target for infrastructure deals in Korea? You can target the existing enterprise customers who are using Oracle Database, but not the same side of the house. You have to talk to completely different people. Or you could target the gaming, or you could target the digital natives. But it's a different conversation, different competitor, and we need to be confident. We need to be confident. Soon we'll be rolling out the KPIs. Jungkook and Hyuni, have you rolled out the KPIs yet or not yet? We haven't really finalized it yet, so.
Actually, we briefly share with our individuals, but not officially distributed it to the individual
Sure.
level. So
Yep.
why don't you explain overall your
Okay.
strategy or the direction?
Okay, yeah, because we're still finalizing it. I hope to finalize it this week, and then we can roll it out at the end of the week or early next week. But we have to change our mindset, and I want to set clear expectations with everybody as to where we need to go. Where Oracle needs to go. You have seen the market's expectation on us, right? The market is expecting Oracle to go towards being $1 trillion company. We have doubled in the last 12 months, I think, maybe more than double in the last 12 months. Okay. The market is expecting us to go do this. We have doubled predominantly through some very large infrastructure deals, as I think MJ, you said on the chat, right? So we cannot afford to not do this. We have to do this. So the market has an expectation on the company. The company has an expectation on me to make our entire cloud engineering team be able to fire on both cylinders. You know, when you have an engine, you have two cylinders, right? We want the database engine to be firing, and we want the infrastructure engine to be firing. The infrastructure business has got a much steeper growth curve, right? We should be able to more than double the infrastructure business for a market like Korea. Oracle has more than doubled our infrastructure business. Our remaining performance obligations, RPOs, is mainly infrastructure deals, right? So it's a huge opportunity. So what my charter is to make sure we are all clear on what the expectation is. Experts in 23AI for new applications, not just lift and shift, new conversations. Experts in cloud infrastructure, compute, network, storage, to go out there and win head-to-head against Amazon. That's what we need. Now, our job is to make sure you have the right training and the right capabilities, but also in our KPIs, what we want to be clear is we want to measure this activity. We want to measure the conversations that every one of us is having every day with customers around why we are different, and see if those conversations can convert to a POC. Why POC? Why a workshop? Because in a POC and a workshop, customers can see very clearly why we are different. And when they see why we are different, especially for infrastructure, they will onboard on Oracle very, very quickly. I'll give you one example. Jung, I will talk about the retailer, the Chinese retailer. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Does the team know about them or not?
Not all members recognized about the startup company.
Okay, so I will say the
e-commerce
name.
company, yeah.
I will say the name because Larry has also mentioned.
Yes, I know.
Larry loves this company now. Okay, there is a big online retailer called Temu, T-E-M-U. Do they have a presence in Korea or not?
Sure, very popular tier 1 e-commerce company in Korea. So many Koreans.
We say Temu.
Temu. Temu. Okay, so Temu. So Temu came to Oracle. Actually, let me give you some example first. Before we won Temu, we lost another one. Do you know the retailer called Shein, S-H-E-I-N? Do they operate in Korea? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Shein is a, let me just show you this, because I think it's okay. S-H-E-I-N. Okay. They sell clothes. They sell everything, actually. Clothes, shoes, everything. You can see. It's like Temu. It's like Temu. Okay. 2 years ago, we tried to win Shein from infrastructure deal. So Shein is running with Azure, I'm sorry. And Azure had a lot of downtime. And they said, we want to go multi-cloud and we want to go across 2 cloud providers to reduce our risk of the site going down. Retailer, the site must be on 24/7, of course. We lost that deal. We lost that deal to Google. So Shein is running on Azure and GCP. Okay. When we lost that deal, we learned a lot of mistakes. And so we tried again with Temu after we lost Shein. We tried again, but this time we were smarter. Okay. This time we were smarter. We led with OCI's differentiation. We talked about our performance SLAs. We talked about isolation. We talked about network. And we didn't just talk. We provisioned PayGo for the customer. And we did a lot of credits. And we let them stress test OCI. Like crazy. Do you know, last Black Friday, last year, Temu was running on Azure and on OCI, side by side. Okay. In Black Friday, we had only 15%, 15% of the workload. So 85% to Azure, 15% to us. Guess how much the consumption was? Anybody want to guess on chat? How much is the consumption?
Just 1 week. Black Friday.
1 day. 1 day.
1 day.
Oh, it's still, and the consumption is still the same, but it goes up and it's still there. And now our consumption's growing. But give me an idea of any number that you think would make sense for 1 day.
1 day. 1 million?
Good try. I wish. Close. Not close. For when we started with Temu, they were at about $120,000 a day, US. Okay, that was dev test UAT. And then we got to 15% of the workload. And now they're like or OCI. Just like Zoom started small, became bigger. Uber started small, became bigger. Now Temu is taking us from 15%. Ideally, we will go 50-50 with Azure. We will not get 100%. But I already told you the number. They signed a deal with Oracle. I won't say the exact number. By far, our biggest deal. Multi-$100 millions per year. One deal. 12-month sales cycle. That's the size of opportunity for infrastructure. Okay, multi-$100 million per year, consuming very, 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 very quickly, which is revenue. By the way, since we won Temu, Shein, the other retailer that we lost, came back to us and now want to talk to us again. Okay, so we have maybe just in China, 5 or 6 big companies like this moving to OCI from Azure or Amazon or Google. Why? Because we are different. Why? Because we are faster. Why? Because we are cheaper. Simple. When you are burning hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars per day, when a retailer doesn't make a lot of money, not a lot of margin, you're burning millions of dollars a day. I can do it better, faster, cheaper. I will win. Gaming companies, exactly the same. Right? E-commerce, retailing, gaming, streaming, video companies. I'm faster. I'm cheaper. I have better quality of service compared to Amazon Azure. Now, if I ask a show of hands, how many on this call is confident to go to these companies and have this conversation? I don't think we have that. So my expectation for us is to pick up these skills very quickly. We should be onboarding. We should be chasing customers and really looking at identifying workloads at the rate of about $2 million per quarter of onboarding per person. That's the level that my competitors are working at. If I close my eyes and say, what is an Amazon, Azure, or Google engineer targeting in, sorry, 2 million a year. I said 2 million a quarter, 2 million a year. In Korea, the engineers are targeted to bring $2 million of workload per year, each engineer, in any of my competitors, right? So we need to be comfortable to compete at this level. We have a great product. We have a great price. We have availability in Korea, right? So we need to be saying, okay, I can wake up. I'm going to chase 500K per quarter of workloads. How do you chase 500K? Well, you need to talk to new customers where they're looking at big workloads. We need to look bigger. We need to challenge ourselves. We need to be confident and comfortable to doing that. If we don't, you need to put your hands up and ask for help to build that skill set, to build that capability, because that's the expectation for us to be able to have this conversation against Amazon, against Azure, against Google. So I'm going to stop. Hopefully you understand my two growth engines and what my expectation is, because that's what my boss has asked me to do. Garrett has asked me to do because the company wants us to do that. They want us to grow 23AI. They want us to grow infrastructure, which is a much bigger, much faster growing opportunity for us. We, cloud engineering, need to make sure we have the right process, structure, training, KPIs, a measure and cadence to be able to do this every single day that we wake up and come to the office. We should be chasing these targets. All right. That's my expectation. I want to just open the floor to any questions or comments from you. Anybody, please. I'm going to grab a drink.
Chris, on the chatting window, the Jinori raised the question.
Oh, there's a question. Sorry, one second.
Yes.
So what was the value advantage of OCI Temu? So why did they pick us? Few reasons. Firstly, most customers want multiple clouds. Why? Especially if you're a global presence, you have a less risk if you have multiple clouds. Remember, people don't use multiple database for one application because database, is different programming paradigms. But infrastructure is just compute network storage. And Temu says, I want to put my infrastructure on two clouds. It's very unlikely that two clouds will go down at the same time. That's number one reason, availability. Number two reason is cost. When you have two providers, you can negotiate to both. Number three is SLA and quality of service, right? We delivered some amazing SLA and quality of service for them. We have a great product, right? And they chose us. So they chose us, they're saving cost. Simple. Saving cost, better quality. Actually, the fourth reason maybe is unlike database migrations, it's difficult. You have to go through security assessments and performance assessments, and there's a lot of work to do, okay? Infrastructure is infrastructure. The application code for Temu is cloud native. It's a bunch of containers deployed with an orchestration layer, and the containers can point to a computer here or a computer there on OCI or on Azure. So application migration was easy. The customer did the migration. They said, okay, turn on some computers and I will shift my load balancer to load balance to OCI 15%. Because it's just computers. So the migration, I'm not saying it happened overnight. It took a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. But they were able to do that. So the difficulty to migrate isn't there, right? And so it made it easy for them to try it. They like it. You try it, you like it, it's lower cost. You stay, and then you grow. Today, our plan is to take them to 50%. I think they're about 20% running on OCI today.
In addition, question from me about the Temu. Does Temu still using not only OCI but also Azure either?
Yeah. Yes. And they intend to do that. Like I said, Our upside will be 50% to go
Mm.
from 20% of their workload to 50% of their workload. That's our upside, right?
The reason why I raised the question, I memorized the one customer, unicorn customer in Korea. They also has been using Azure with the multi-year contract. By the way, I think I would like to approach them to the multi-cloud strategy
Yeah.
with reference selling of the Temu.
Yes, absolutely. So we are trying the same thing elsewhere. So Zoom, this Zoom call, Zoom is not 100% Oracle. Zoom is still AWS and Oracle, right? So some of your window or your VMs is running on AWS on this call, and some of our VMs are running or are running in sessions are running in OCI, right? Zoom is across two clouds.
Okay.
Any more questions?
어떤 질문이라도 있으시면은 질문을 해 주시면은 뭐 짧은 영어지만 번역을 해 드리거나 아니면은 퀵하게 구글 트랜스레이터나 그 챗GPT한테 물어봐서 돌려서 질문하셔도 될 것 같습니다.
Jungho doesn't trust my Korean, so she asked you to use ChatGPT. Is that what she said? Yeah, seriously, any question, even in you put it in Korean and somebody can translate it for me, or we
Guys,
could use.
there is no stupid questions. Any questions
There's no stupid question.
available, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know, there is no reason data center region in China. So could you share which data center does Temu use?
Yeah, good question. Really good question. Actually, I think more and more I see, data center, the problem of data center is 5 years ago problem. Everybody, oh, if I don't have the cloud in my backyard, I can't go to the cloud. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. So Temu is running in London, and they'll be going to Ashburn as well. Okay. May already started at Ashburn. I can't remember, but the Black Friday was in London, and now in Ashburn. So if you think about it, location is becoming less of a reason. I mean, some workloads, yes, but I think that it's our mindset where sometimes we say, "Oh, we don't want to go because it's not here." I don't think so. I think there's a lot of workload that's running in other clouds, even in this now with our database we've got very large customers who are running database at Azure and database at Google outside of the country, right? I think data residency is becoming, sometimes the organizations that use it are the ones where they're too lazy to change or they don't want to change. If you look at tomorrow, any application that's being built, again, who you target, right? If you target our typical large customers, my favorite friends at Samsung, for example, okay, Samsung will tell you everything must run in country, right? But if you target the gaming companies, I don't think they care. They'll say, I want to be closest to my customer. Why? I want the latency to be closest to my end user experience. So Temu, Shein, you may have heard of the mobile phone company Xiaomi, 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 right? Xiaomi is also looking at OCI. So just like you buy a Samsung phone, you get storage, and that storage on Samsung phone, where is that? That's on Amazon, right? Xiaomi is now already started to look at OCI for their devices. If you buy a car from BYD, the Chinese electric EV, BYD is looking at us for, none of this is Oracle Database, cloud native workloads. If you buy a Jaguar car or a Land Rover car, JLR, or a Tata Motors car, the entire IoT platform, no Oracle database, the entire IoT platform for every sensor in the car is running on OCI. Migrated from AWS, the final by our CE team and Lyft teams, the final just went live, I think this week, right?
Chris, there are 4 more questions on the chatting window.
Yep. Okay, 1 second.
Yep.
1 second. Okay. So I want to show you this. Again, I think you raise a really good question, but I want to show you the sort of workloads we are chasing. It's very different. Okay. So this is, I'm sure this is confidential, but I'm sure this came to me on the weekend. Can you see this?
Yep.
Saturday. So this is the TML is Tata Motors Limited. Tata Motors owns Jaguar, owns Land Rover, owns Tata, right? We have moved everything to OCI from AWS, right? So every time you drive the car, so we've done northbound links, southbound links, we've done every single cluster, analytics cluster, Kafka clusters, everything, production, dev test, UAT, DR, everything is moved to OCI, right? This account has gone from 0 to 10 million bucks in about 3.5, 4 months. 0 to $10 million in about 4 months. And we have not even finished the migration until last weekend. That $10 million is going to become $50 million. Remember what I said we were aiming for in Korea? Our budget is $53 million. I said we should do at least 66 million. One account, Tata Motors, can do that in India this year. One account. That is the size of the opportunity for infrastructure. To win that deal, we are talking to people who have no knowledge of Oracle database in the customer. We are talking to people who've got 100% knowledge of AWS and Kafka and messaging and Kubernetes and containers and flexible infrastructure and firewalls and routers and network load balancers and storage. That's what we're talking to. Because everything that's coming in from every car you drive anywhere in the world from Land Rover is coming back into OCI. Right? Different conversation. We need to be comfortable to do that. The team in India, a year ago, were not comfortable. Right? But we went in and we said, we're going to win this. Now, you look at I've just told you, BYD, Tata Motors. I drive a Korean car, right? I would love for Hyundai Kia Motors to be being the next platform, to bring all of the vehicle sensing equipment to OCI. We should go try that from an infrastructure perspective. Okay, so I see lots of questions now. So let me answer more questions because of time. Let me scroll up, please. Can you tell me about your personal strategy about ADW to win back Google BigQuery? It's very similar for BigQuery and Snowflake and Databricks. Our entry point is not to try to go and rip and replace. Our entry point is to surround them. BigQuery, Snowflake, and Databricks are very, very expensive on day 2. You go live, you get a lot of free stuff. You are killed in day 2. So we leave it there and we say, you know what? You are pulling from Oracle database to go to BigQuery, but BigQuery is really expensive. I leave BigQuery there. I run your most expensive query on ADW. All right? And they say, okay, just for the most expensive queries, you run that on ADW. Sure, fine. And then you say, okay, what about your second most expensive and your third most expensive and your fourth most expensive? And before you know it, you say, why the hell do you need that? You're moving data out of my environment to put it somewhere to run slower and more expensive than what I can do it for you in my environment. Okay, so that's how we go about winning data platforms. We have to win data platforms, not just databases. That's one of the reasons I'm saying we change the name for us to be data architects. We're not just database engineers or database SEs. We're data architects. We can look at all of your data problem. Your IoT stream that's coming from every car, that's a data problem. That's not a database problem. That's a data problem, right? And I can solve your data problems. That's why I'm a data architect. When do you expect the Exadata SE team to merge into the cloud team? We're working through that, so I don't want to give any times away until I'm very clear on the strategy. There's a few things we've got to do first, but I think it's important that everybody on this call recognize what the expectation is and see how you can contribute to the expectation. That's my bigger in organizations. To me, not as important as making sure we've got alignment in the trajectory, and the trajectory is my expectation around the skill sets that we're looking to do. Not database, but data architects and infrastructure architects. Okay, that answers the next question as well about org structure to build the two opportunities. Whilst I'm not going to announce the org structure for for a little bit longer, I do want to say that the opportunities should be clear, right? Data and infra, because you said to meet the two opportunities. So I'm glad you picked up on those two opportunities. I do see a closer interlock between the old SE and CE team. I say old because it used to be two teams in Korea, an SE team and a CE team. Okay, one was on-premise, one was cloud. Jangok and Hini know my direction is really clear on this. Okay, it's not on-premise and cloud. It's data and infrastructure, right? So I think that they're both driving this, and there's some clear KPIs that we'll be rolling out together, hopefully by early next week. So everybody's clear on what needs to happen there. Next question, Juhwan Moon, when a business operator who uploads general products and team registers products, is there an additional solution for this? I don't think I understand the question. It's not a product that we sell for this. All we're selling is compute network storage, maybe some Kafka messaging, maybe some Kubernetes. Everything else is part of the application development framework that the customer has built. And this is very, very typical in when you go after digital native, cloud native workloads, right? Very rarely are they using a PaaS service. They're using infrastructure. And if they're using managed PaaS, it'll be for some managed PaaS of open source service. So managed Kubernetes, managed Kafka, managed Postgres, right? We're selling infrastructure. We're not selling a PaaS service for the bulk of these infrastructure opportunities. Hopefully that was clear. AWS plans to invest 7 trillion won to build a large-scale AI center in Korea. We think that is marketing wear, and that's not real. Listen, all they're selling, and I think somebody from SK even told us this, all they're selling is effectively land and data center. That's not where Oracle is going to play. If you look at Oracle's strategy, if you listen to Larry, if you heard the announcements with Stargate, what are we doing? We're not here to build land and data center and concrete. We're here to own the AI data platform. We want to own the AI data platform. Okay. We're already leading with GPUs. You take the largest language models, where are they built? They're built on OCI. Google's not building with us. Gemini is built on Google infrastructure, but Meta is, Grok is, OpenAI is, Mosaic is. Our competitors are building on us, right? So we don't have to go and prove about an AI GPU data center and ask NVIDIA about Oracle. We don't have to prove that. Amazon's making some noise. You know, one of the things about Larry's strategy we should understand is Larry never tries to compete with a competitor where the competitor thinks they can make a noise. We always fight our own game. Our game is AI data platform. The AI data platform runs on OCI infrastructure. Okay. I'm conscious we're out of time. I'm going to see if I can go through these questions real quickly. Promoting AWS and Azure in gaming and esports. Is there anything we can promote in this regard? We can promote a heck of a lot in gaming and esports. Gaming streaming as well. So content providers. You know, Skydance makes movies. Skydance is run by Larry's son, David Ellison. Skydance bought Paramount. And you'll start seeing a whole bunch of work that Oracle is doing in the content and media and streaming space that is fundamentally differentiated. But I think if I read this question and the question before, you're thinking too much into it, if I may say. Not wrong, but good questions. But don't think too much into, do we have a service or do we have an application? Do we have a capability to promote this? No. In the infrastructure game, you're selling infrastructure, compute, network, storage. Don't worry about the PaaS layer. Don't worry about anything else on top of that. We're selling compute, network, storage. Be comfortable and confident to explain why is Oracle's compute, network, storage different from everybody else. That's it. That's how you win. That's how you win. Okay, GPU is excluded. Do you think there's enough potential for 2x growth? 100% there's enough potential for 2x growth. I'll give you a good example. I just told you how much I can tell you how much TeamU spent in GPUs last year. Less than 10 million bucks, maybe 11 million bucks, sorry. About 10 million bucks. I just told you it's a multi-$100 million business. They spent about 10 million bucks in GPUs. So GPUs are important, but GPUs are, listen, the only way you're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on GPU is if you are training a model like OpenAI or Meta or Grok. Those deals could be hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Large infrastructure customers, TeamU, Shein, Tata Motors, they'll use $1 or $2 million. They won't use hundred millions of dollars. Okay. There are also concerns that models like database advisors may have a negative impact on OCI's business competitive. Absolutely wrong. Great question. I'm glad you asked it, and I want to give you my view. 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Okay. What did I say in Larry's strategies? To own the AI data platform. We want to run and manage as much data as possible. Why? Because data drives AI. Okay, data is the fuel for AI. So we want to run data anywhere. Unless you're telling me all the customers that were running on database at AWS can suddenly run on database at Azure, at OCI tomorrow, then it's not a competition. Take it where you can take it any day. Right. And I can tell you our database at Azure, and so far we have had 0 GCP deals because it's just coming online. But our database at Azure deals on average is a $1.1 million sales cycle on average 3 weeks. Average 3 weeks, average 1.1 million. How many DBCS customers we have in Korea using $1.1 million? Not many. Okay. The point is the customers in Azure or AWS have already committed budget to that. So we don't even need the money. We are using Microsoft credits. We are using Azure credits. So you don't need a budget. Number 2, the data is already there. Number 3, we are solving a real problem for them. So we can move really quickly. We can start consuming really quickly. So great question, but no, I don't see it as a competition. Take it anywhere you can. Our goal is to manage as much data as possible. I don't care where it is. Make sense?
Yeah, sure. I fully agree with you, Chris.
Thank you. Hey, team, this has been some great questions. I hope I gave you some idea of the opportunity, the potential, the expectations. If there's any further questions, I want to call, I don't want to leave you too late. Please reach out to
You
Jung-Hok
already spent 5 minutes more with my.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I want to, any questions, please send them to Jung-Hok and Hyun-Hee. But hopefully the expectation is really clear. Each of us should be waking up and thinking $2 million at least of new capability that we want to bring in this year. 500K per quarter. Why? Because that's what every single one of my competitors are doing. If I don't do what my competitors are doing, we have a problem. We won't catch up. So we need to think that mindset. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much, team. Thank you, Jungkook. Thank you, Hini. Thank you, all of you, for your time and your fantastic questions.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tutup. Yung hindi ginagawa.